الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن دعا بدعوته واستنى بسنته وسار على نهجه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters in deen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We thank Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for giving us another opportunity again to meet and to remind ourselves of some of the injunctions of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Inshallah, today we are almost completing the ninth fasting, if I'm not mistaken. Ninth one, right?
Yes.
So the days are going. We pray Allah Ta'ala spare our lives to witness the end and bless him, inshallah. One of the things we listen to many imams in the course of their Taraweeh, part of the prayers, is praying for Allah Ta'ala to accept our fasting, accept our qiyam, accept our ruku, our sujood, and and so on. And yes, it will be very painful for one to observe the Ramadan and not getting anything out of it, and for one not to find himself in that state. Then one needs to take cognizance of things expected of one to take care of for Allah Ta'ala to accept one's deed. In a verse of the Quran, precisely in Surah Al-Kahf, verse 110, Allah Ta'ala is saying to us that فَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَاءَ رَبِّهِ فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا وَلَا يُشْرِكْ بِعِبَادَةِ رَبِّهِ أَحَدًا. Prayer for Allah to accept your fasting is one thing. But that prayer alone will not make Allah to accept your fasting when you don't take care of certain things. And because that's how Allah designed the world. And akhdhu bil asbab. You not just pray for Allah to do something while you don't take the step towards achieving it. Because that's where most of us are getting it wrong. Even the crises we find ourselves today, whether individually or community level or national level, are all as a result of that. Yes, we wish for something, or we pray to have something good, but we don't take steps towards achieving that. So, for Allah Ta'ala to accept one's deed, Allah says in this verse of the Quran, that is Surah Al-Kahf, verse 110, that فَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَاءَ رَبِّهِ, whoever wants to meet his Lord successfully, that is, you want to meet Allah Ta'ala successfully, then he said, فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا, he should do righteous deed. وَلَا يُشْرِكْ بِعِبَادَةِ رَبِّهِ أَحَدًا, and he should not associate partner unto Allah Ta'ala in the course of his ibadah. So basically, for Allah Ta'ala to accept one's deed, for Allah to accept one's fasting, for Allah to accept one's salah, for Allah to accept one's nawafil, or all good acts, whether in the month of Ramadan or outside the month of Ramadan, then these conditions have to be fulfilled. He said, فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا, he should do righteous deeds. And what are righteous deeds? Righteous deeds are deeds or are actions that are in conformity with Allah's injunction. That is, anything you do which is in conformity with Allah's guideline, with His own teachings, with His own commandment, then it is a righteous deed. And anything you do which is contrary to His own teachings or His own commandments, then it is not, it is the opposite. So righteous deed or deeds are not defined by us. You may like something. Because you like something doesn't make it good. Because you dislike something doesn't make it good. Because you like something doesn't make it bad. And because you dislike something doesn't make it bad. So what? From Allah's judgment, or from Allah's perspective, and from righteous people's perspective, good deeds or righteous deeds are things that are pleasing to Allah. Anything you do that Allah likes, that Allah commanded, then it is a righteous deed. And anything you do which is not the way Allah commanded, which is not pleasing to Allah Ta'ala, it is an unrighteous deed, even if you like it. So in essence, you may like a deed, it may be righteous. You may dislike a deed, it may be righteous. You may like a deed, it may be unrighteous. And you may dislike a deed, it may also be unrighteous. So, فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا, you should do righteous. So in essence, like you're fasting, you have to fast according to Allah's injunction. As if you want Allah Ta'ala to accept the fasting, you observe it sincerely for Allah Ta'ala's sake. Abstain from eating and drinking from before the coming of from the coming out of Fajr till sunset. Or talks or actions that are not expected of one should abstain from them. And one should not associate partner unto Allah Ta'ala in the course of that action. So generally, when one does ibadah, then one will try as much as possible not to create a partner, or not to do it for any other reason other than Allah Ta'ala. Or don't fast because you want people to say, you are a very good Muslim, or he fasts, or for the sake of the people, or maybe fasting because everybody is fasting. Some do some things because yes, everybody is different, not because they are interested in doing it. Or they don't want to be different. So, my brothers and sisters, in today's lesson, what we remind ourselves of is what? For Allah to accept our deed, we have to take care of certain things. Yes, prayer for Allah to accept alone does not make Allah to accept. Yes, prayer to make Allah to accept can work after you've taken certain steps. And some of those steps are: one, that the action being in conformity with Allah Ta'ala's injunction, and also being devoid of a shirk, that is associating partner unto Allah Ta'ala. And I usually draw our attention to something when we always talk about Allah Ta'ala. When we talk about doing something that pleases Allah, we must always remember something, because that will encourage us to. Nothing pleases Allah except what will help you. Allah will not command you with anything except for your own benefit. He doesn't need you to be anything. Your presence doesn't add him and doesn't reduce him. Your absence doesn't add him. It does not add to his rank. It does not elevate him. Neither your absence. In essence, he is who he is already. So he being Allah have nothing to do with your own existence. If he decides and he wipes up the whole human being from the surface of the earth, he is still Allah. If he allows us to live, he is still what? He is Allah. It's different from us. We human are different. Or we creatures of Allah are different. Your own, status have connection with Allah and have connection with other things. Like our leaders today, may Allah guide them and make their responsibility easy for them. Maybe like the person in charge of this place, area commander, the assistant controller, the assistant controller general. Yes, by the time they say there's no single person here, he's the only person inside this place, then the position becomes what? Useless. The position becomes useless. Oh, for example, if you see somebody, they tell you he's a rich man. They are telling you he's a rich man because they are comparing him with somebody. So if the other person doesn't exist, then that his own title becomes what? Nothing. Is there any big man with regard? Do we used to look at some people as big men when it comes to breathing? So who is the rich one among? Who is the richest person among us here? In terms of, we're all taking in the oxygen and producing the oxygen, carbon dioxide, right? We're all breathing. So who is richer than the other here? Can we assess that one? Why? Because it's common for anybody. It's free to everybody have access to it. So there's nothing like rich man or poor man. Because everyone has. But in some areas, you see rich man, poor man, because there's something he has access to or he has and the other person doesn't have. Or there's something he's controlling, the other person doesn't control. But in the area that we are all equal, you will not hear anybody looking at that area and separating us. Rich, poor. It doesn't happen. Because nobody is controlling the air except Allah. So everybody have access to it. You take the quantity you want. If you want to reduce, you block your nose. Have you? Yes, you want more. You free your nose. But nobody will block it from coming to you. Because nobody is in control of how it moves except the owner of it. That's Allah, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. But here Allah, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, as we say, yes, His own presence has nothing to do with you exist, you don't exist. Just like if all of us become kuffar, it doesn't change Him. Because not our iman with Him, not believing in Him that made Him Allah. So even if you say you don't believe in Him, because there's one thing with Him, is even if you say you don't believe in Him, it's because He gives you the chance to say you don't believe in Him. If He wants you to believe in Him by force, He can make you believe by force. If we want everybody to be Muslim, the issue is, yes, He gave what we are doing, He gave us the chance. That's how He wanted to be. So even the one you think you have, you decide, that's how He wanted to be. Because He have even proven to you that yes, He can make you do what He likes at any point in time. There are creatures, they don't commit sin. Why? Because they don't disobey Him. That's how He programmed them. That is the angels. لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, accept our ibadah and put us among those who will sincerely do our ibadah for Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala's sake. And then, like I said, if we do our ibadah, it's for our own good. If we do our ibadah, it makes our world a best place to live. Because it is that lack of ibadah that is in us that have led us to the state we are in today, that the government cannot control. No one is more powerful than Allah. So if you decide not to obey Him, then so many things will go wrong. But if we decide to do ibadah, to worship Allah as expected, part of worshiping Allah is to save humanity. Part of worshiping Allah is to create peaceful environment. Part of worship of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is to save life, not to waste life. And that is one of some of the basic lessons, inshallah, as we continue with Ramadan, that Ramadan is actually giving us. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala put us among those who will make the world a better place to live. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair.